Well, it's big, it's delicious, and it's American. And no, I'm not talking about a Texan barbecue. This is Dean's HSV H3 Hummer. And this is, of course, Sus with Sam, episode 3, proudly brought to you by GME. Today, we're gonna be taking a look around one of the most custom, most capable Hummers in Australia.
On the wave, my own wave, can't stop my shine. In the lane, my own lane, can't stop my grind. 40 yard in the V12 and like 1.5. At 19, I played 19 in a month, no lie. Oh God. I was starving skinny, now my weight up, got no energy.
Well, this is Dean, the owner of the Big Green Beast, and he was telling me just before, not only has he had this vehicle almost since new, but it's been through quite a few different iterations. Dean, mate, tell the people, I guess, a bit about the car.
Well, originally, my wife picked it, not me.
Okay.
You know, the kids had grown up, didn't need a 7-seater anymore. Tried to show her normal cars, wouldn't have a bar of it. Saw the Hummer up on a showroom stand and said, no, that's it, that's what it's got to be. And so we grabbed one. This one had about 10,000 Ks on it, near new. Drove it around for 4 years untouched.
Yep.
Took it to Moralia.
Okay.
And did the fire trials there and decided, no, that's it.
Okay.
The mod started.
Yep.
First thing was we give it a lift as far as it goes, torsion bar front end, IFS. Wound her up, broke CVs. So
Funny
then we
that.
did diff drop, we went right through everything you could do to the IFS.
Yep.
Sitting on 35s, twin locked. Started to get real friendly with the local supplier of CVs.
Okay,
So had enough of it, got them down to about 20 minutes of change on the side of the track.
That's how you know you're doing them too often, by the way.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Always got a rattle gun in the car.
Yeah.
And so I took it to Matt Kinsella
Yep.
and found a place in the US that had done a SAS on one of these and ordered the parts in. Matt did the first SAS on it.
Yep.
And that was done, you know, pretty mild. Like the brief, which Matt followed to a T, was a Tourer,
Yep.
sitting about the same height as I had at IFS.
Yep.
But I just wanted the reliability of the solid axle. So we did 80 series radius arms,
Yep.
pretty standard setup, 10-inch coilovers.
Yep.
That was great, loved it.
Yep.
Did what it said on the cover. But, you know, not long after, I was hanging up on the rear leaf springs.
Yeah.
And
You 79 series owners.
79
you know
series
all about
owners
that.
know all about
Suckers.
it. So we decided, well, didn't mind the rear end because, you know, good for carrying loads. You could load it right up.
Yeah.
So decided we'll just do a leaf over. And when we did the leaf over, it sat it up a couple more inches than what it was.
Yeah.
So that led to adjusting the front. Well, we pulled the front down. My mate Jeremy, he's a bit of an extraordinaire when it comes to building these big flexi front ends.
Yeah.
And he sort of convinced me, oh, we can do a couple of little tweaks.
Yeah.
Just small things
Okay.
to make it flex a little bit better.
Right.
You know? And, you know, 16-inch coilovers later and
Yeah.
triple bypass shocks.
Here we are.
Here we are, you know, long arm 3-link.
Yeah. Things
it's
got out
just-
of hand.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, just down the rabbit hole.
That's right. I reckon we need to tell the people a bit more about it, run through the whole thing. There's a lot to talk about. And I've got to say, when it comes to front end suspension setups and also what's hiding under here, not a lot of people out there have probably gone as wild as you have. So let's dive into it. Well, with a car as sort of unique, rare, and just generally as wide as this Hummer is, it's a pretty good idea to wrap it in bar work, and you've done just that, mate. Let's chat about it.
Yeah, look, the front bar, we had a choice of ARB,
Yep.
or there was ARB.
Okay. So lots of options.
Yeah, and so we went with
Let me
ARB.
guess. Yep, there it is, folks.
So ARB does a bar. You can get a factory brush bar, but
Yeah.
no way it was going to do what we needed to do.
Yep.
Wanted a winch up front, somewhere to put the lights, so ARB it was.
Nice.
Then we got Matt Kinsella
Yep.
to give us some scrub bars.
Yep.
None existed. Didn't want the big ugly joint here.
No.
So Matt's done a hidden system here.
Yeah, real nice how he does those.
Yeah, it's you know, right in there and
Super
it's solid
strong.
metal, so
Yeah.
she's about as strong as it can be. And I've lent the truck on it heaps, so I can
imagine.
tell you it works.
Yeah.
Further down, you've got that connecting to a set of factory OEM sliders. So
Okay.
they were an option.
Yeah, nice.
When you bought a H3,
Yep.
yeah, you've got a side step or the sliders.
There's a slider.
Built tough, so
Yep.
no need to replace them.
Yep.
We do have plans later on to bring out another bit of bar work just to further protect it, to lean out on, with a hoop over the back.
Yeah, nice.
Connecting into the rear ARB bar.
Okay, cool.
So, you know, that'll give it plenty of protection, and then we can go give it more of a hiding.
Yeah, that's
see
right.
if we can lay it over.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and tell us about the roof rack. You said there was a funny story there where it might have cost you nothing at all.
Yeah, well, it was the right price for sure. Yeah, there was on Facebook, there's the four-wheel drive Club 4x4 competition. They had a few categories: best 4x4, more crawler, rock crawler. You know, I knew I had a pretty good running when the fine print said for rock crawler that it had to be road registered and fully legal. So we put it up and the public voted. And we won that for, I think it was 2022, best rock crawler from Club 4x4. For that privilege, they sent me out Rhino Rack.
Rhino Rack
platform. Choose my Rhino Rack platform. Of course, I didn't have brackets to install it, but we made that work.
That's all right.
I got a $1,000 fuel card, BP fuel card.
Nice, and that's especially helpful at the moment because here in Australia, our humble little hometown, fuel, you know, 98, you pay probably $2.40, $2.50 at the moment a litre, which I know a lot of people around the world are like, oh, that's not too much. Here in Australia, that's pretty freaking wild. And the reason it's important is because what's hiding under here, let's just say it's not quite a fuel efficient EV motor, that's for sure. There's a little bit going on. Actually, I reckon that's the perfect segue. Let's pop this bonnet and show the people what's hiding under there because it's a bit on.
Here we go.
Look at that little beastie. Oh, nothing little about it actually, Dean. That's quite a weapon. As soon as I heard you pull up, as soon as I heard Dean pull up this morning, I was like, there's something going on here. There's, you know, it's not just the little Hummer motor. What did come in this and what made you go to the 6 litre?
It originally had an i5, which is a 5-cylinder.
Weird.
Yeah, so you see them in Volvos. But for some reason, I think short, they needed to put in a 5-cylinder. 3.7 litre. They get along all right. But, yeah, I always want a bit more. So we tuned it and got about a 30% increase on the i5.
Yeah, right.
And so that, you know, it was 240 horsepower, something like that.
Awesome.
Then decided to put a snail on it.
Right, okay.
And yeah, that sort of cooked the motor pretty quick.
I can imagine.
So we rebuilt it. And I cooked it again. So the last time I pulled the motor out and I'm looking at that 4L60E that comes in these standards. Commodore box basically, and I'm going, that couldn't be too hard. It was begging for it. So had a look around and come across this 6 litre. So
LS2.
LS2.
And what was that out of?
It was out of a Club Sport, a 2008 Club Sport.
And the name is born.
Yeah, HSV
H3.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's not, you know, it's not too wild. It's still NA, which I 100% agree with. You know, when you start putting blowers on these things, you get a bit of belt slip in the mud and that kind of thing. But it's not a standard 6 litre. What have you done to it?
Oh, it's got a small cam. Not much else. You know, basically good intake. Good exhaust and a really good tune.
Nice.
And it's got enough torque and everything to snap most of the driveline. So, you know, going anything more is just really shits and giggles.
Yeah, 100%. And for those wondering if someone would be crazy enough to take an H3 with a V8 in it on 37s to a drag strip, this man right here was. And right now, take a moment, don't cheat, leave a comment below and have a guess at what you think the quarter mile was.
With a rooftop tent.
With a rooftop tent, because we reckon it'll blow you away. An XR8 Falcon will do around a 14.1. A brand new Ram did what, a 16?
16.1,
And this did a?
15.1.
15.1 quarter mile. That's pretty wild. So it obviously gets along pretty nicely. And that's with the automatic in it? Yeah. And when it comes to capability off-road, obviously automatic. You mentioned before it's got reduction gears. And what diff gears are you running?
513s.
Okay. which sounds pretty wild for people in Land Cruiser world, but these had a 4 something already?
4.6, yeah.
4.6
so they come out
factory.
factory 4.6.
Yeah.
Yeah, the transfer case is the Adventure package. That's a factory transfer case with 4 ones.
Okay.
So it's got pretty good reduction.
Yeah.
So out of the box, I mean, the transmission we had to rebuild to take the LS2.
Yeah.
So a fair bit went into the transmission, Corvette
100%.
servos, torque converter upgrades, all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
she shifts pretty hard.
Awesome.
Torque converter locks up. I mean, we had to up the idle from standard idle because it would stall. The torque converter's so tight,
Yeah,
she
right.
would stall on some climbs.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we had to bump her up.
Bump the idle up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. So
Awesome.
Yeah, she's good.
Well, it's an absolute weapon, and I'm also, while we're in here, noticing an absolute massive set of coil towers and a gigantor coil tower brace. I think it's time we show the people the real fruity bit of this build, the suspension, because in the front end of this thing, that's wild. Well, this is where this truck really steps away from confines and is just utterly wild. Not only is it completely road legal and fully engineered, but there isn't a single part of the front suspension here that hasn't been insanely sort of designed to allow the most amount of flex possible. I don't even know, I have no words for it. And the crazy thing is, that's a 37-inch tyre, pretty much below the sill already, and it's only maybe halfway through its range of movement. It's utterly insane. Dean, tell the people before I need a moment to myself about what's going on in the front of this car.
Yeah, it's flexy.
It's flexy, all right?
It's
You
flexy.
can say that again.
Look, it was the third build, and didn't want to build it again,
Yeah.
so we threw everything at
This
it.
is the all-out.
Yeah, look, we said, you know, how high can we do the towers?
Yep.
And we saw before the towers peak up into the
Yeah.
into the bonnet there.
Yeah.
Battery had to go away and a few other things.
Yep.
And did the measuring and could fit 16, so 16s it went. It was just going to be coilovers,
Yep.
but then we looked and there was room. And Jeremy, who designed all this, knows how I drive.
Yep.
Knows I might launch it. So he said, look, we can fit triple bypass shocks
Yep.
in there as well. And I just went, ooh,
Do it.
ooh yeah,
Tick.
yummy.
Yeah.
Tick.
Big time.
Tick.
So you got 16-inch completely adjustable pro fender coilovers,
Yep,
triple external bypass pro fender shock,
yep,
a 2-inch body or even 2.5-inch body pro fender hydraulic bump stop,
3 inch, yep.
3-inch. Sorry, folks. Oh, look,
Don't, mate, when you're
I've
talking
never
2.5
seen 3
to
inches
3,
before. You know, that's the problem. I'm used to 2 inches, if you know
half
what I
inch
mean.
counts a lot, mate.
Yeah, that's right.
Big percentage.
And so that's just one little part of the custom setup going in the front. So obviously the axle is a Dana 44.
Yeah, so the axle's out of like a early Chevy K10.
Yep.
Just so happened that the track width was the same as the stock Hummer at the back. But we had to do some mods in regard to getting, I wanted the H3 brakes to stay.
Yep.
They're 4-pot brakes, pretty
Yep.
good stoppers. So we had to make sure for engineering that the ABS and the stability control all still function.
Yep.
So we got a tone ring adapter,
Okay.
and so it runs the right tone ring so that all the ABS,
Awesome.
all the fun police
Yep.
is still working.
Yep.
Can
And-
turn it off, but it's there.
Yeah. Obviously high steer on the front side, as well as a pretty wild 3-link setup going on behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those arms, if you get a close up later on, again, as Jeremy, not me, I didn't know what I was getting. He was
Yeah.
just making the arms, and they're taking a while, and next thing I got a photo of them and went, wow.
You knew
Like,
why it took that while.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
these things
incredible.
are an absolute work of art. They're as long as the Naughty 40 wheelbase, god damn it, they're huge.
It really did a Picasso on him. Like,
Yeah.
he just did not need to go to that degree, but
Yeah.
I'm glad he did. Like,
Yeah,
they're awesome.
absolutely.
And they've even got a protective skid plate on those
the
that's
underside.
replaceable.
Yeah, nice.
So they're there to stay. Don't see me ever bending them.
No, I don't think so. I think you might bend just about everything else before you bend those. But speaking of bending stuff, and actually probably not bending anything at all, is that you've also fish plated the hell out of the chassis, this whole front section, right back to basically that sort of first ladder part of the chassis.
Yep.
All fish plated with a massive brace across the bottom of the tower as well as the top of the tower too.
That's it. So it's completely
yeah.
squared off there. So just help that chassis not to overflex.
Move around, yeah, nice, yeah, awesome. And you were saying before, the standard power steering was sort of struggling at idle, obviously 37s and about a 2.8 tonne wagon.
Yeah.
Needed a bit of help. You were running hydraulic assist for a while.
Yeah, so we put on the hydraulic assist,
yep.
and we went to the trouble of connecting that to the knuckle.
Yep.
A whole lot of work went in. Only really had one test run with that out here, and started boiling fluid.
Okay.
Anybody who runs an LS, especially the burnout guys, will know if you do a burnout 6,000 RPM, your power steer pump's toast.
Yeah, okay.
They're not a great pump. Then
gotcha.
We're asking a lot of it.
Yeah.
When you've got your lockers on,
big
37s,
tires, 4 psi, 6 psi of air.
That's it.
Yeah,
so,
there's a bit on.
So and it's running a GU Patrol steering box.
Cool, nice and strong.
So yeah, nice and strong, reliable.
Awesome.
Best part of a Patrol, I think. And so everything was up to the task. It's set for that pump. So we've got sitting on the bench. Couldn't get it done before today, but sitting on the bench is a Astra electric pump.
Yeah, nice.
So we'll go to that. That'll give us full steer at crawler speeds.
Yeah, whenever you need it.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that will be great. Then, people might see down there at the moment, the Hydro Assist just cable tied there for now, because I've got all the hoses all run up with the diff breathers, the locker lines, the brake lines, all running to the centre in one thing. So I didn't want to undo it all.
No, that's right. Yeah. Look, these shoots, sometimes we don't have much notice, folks. It's just a little trick, because as you can probably imagine, I'm not that organised. So we just we made it work. While we're here, let's talk about wheels and tyres and CVs and that kind of thing. Obviously, 37s with 400 horsepower. A standard CV is probably not going to love life for that long. I can see a pretty nice little RCV end cap here. Yep. We've got chrome ollie gear through it.
Yeah, look, when I went to solid axle because I was breaking CVs, I sort of thought, well, that's the end of that. Done at 44. Yeah. Renowned to be pretty stout.
Okay. You were wrong?
Yeah, there's this little step that happened. The boys are starting to call it Hummer step.
Yeah, okay.
It's about 1 metre high.
Right.
I just decided I'd crawl it one wheel at a time. First broke a hub, no big deal. Yeah. Got another hub, put it in. Thought, got to try the same line as you do. Broke another hub. Okay. Went, okay, hubs aren't going to work. So got the solid pucks. Yeah. And that fixed that. Just broke a stub axle instead.
Moving the problem around.
So that was 3 times. Yeah. So then went to RCV. Yeah. And put in RCV chrome ollie axles.
Problem solved.
Problem solved. Yeah. End of the problem. Went back to the step as you do. And broke a rear axle. So,
folks, sometimes four-wheel drives like to play games with us owners, and you can't always win. It's a bit like Jumanji. You start messing with things, and suddenly it's a whole world of pain.
You're chasing your tail. You fix one thing, it goes through. But I'm happy to say now, like, I've got a set of chrome ollie axles to go in the back. Yep. So that'll make it pretty stout. The centers are ARB centers. Yep. And they're running Yukon cryo gears. Nice. So that's pretty stout. Yeah. So once I put in the chrome ollies in the rear, I think the issues are pretty much done.
And quickly, 37-inch feds, you like them?
Yeah, look, there's a story behind that too.
Yeah.
Like with everything. Yeah. I grabbed those off a bloke. He bought them brand new for a build on a Patrol. Yeah. Never used them.
Yeah. Well, Patrol guys would be used to their cars being broken so often that you wouldn't really need tyres anyway, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, 37s, yeah.
And you're not running bead locks, but you are running a custom steel rim. What's the thought process there?
Yeah, look, I wanted to keep it legal because we did engineer it. And,
obviously, yeah.
And, it's pretty hard to have a legal bead lock.
Yeah.
You could have gone internal bead locks, I guess, but the issue we have here, when it flexes up, when it tucks, there's so much articulation in that arc that the wheels were fouling on there. So I had to bring it out.
Gotcha.
So they're a 17x8 rim, originally neg 13.
Okay.
Neil's wheels pulled the centre out of them and reset them for me back about another 35 mil. So they're about a neg 48 in an 8-inch rim.
Yeah.
So I find
important.
with the 12.5 tyre on an 8-inch rim, I can run 8 PSI, even lower sometimes, but I've never debeated a tyre.
Yeah, awesome.
Might be more luck than good management, but I don't. These feds shocked me.
They do the job.
I put them on just to do clearance because they were cheap. Expectation of changing them out because I always ran BFG before that. I had trouble with BFG doing sidewalls.
Yeah, okay.
I got to pinch the sidewalls.
Yeah. One thing about these is they've got that real tough sidewall. So
Yeah, and I think on a heavy truck they're really well suited. They flex up. You'll see later I'm running about 15 PSI, but you'll see good distortion around rocks and everything else.
Awesome.
Yeah, so they've been a real big surprise. They're getting a bit worn now. So Federal, if you're listening.
Yeah, that's right. Federal, hello.
Hello, Federal.
Hello, or maybe Maxis, if you're watching and you want to help out a fellow brother. You know, set of treps wouldn't go astray. I reckon the front is pretty wild in suspension wise. The rear isn't as wild, but it's not a lot you haven't left alone in the back. I reckon we go check out the rear and see what sort of complementary setup you've got.
Yeah, let's do it.
Now the rear isn't quite as exciting as the front, but there is still a little bit going on here that helps.
Depends who you talk to.
It helps piece everything together. What exactly are we looking at back here for those people that might be wondering if a Hummer is IRS or what the go is?
Well, look, the diff housing itself is the original H3 diff. So as I said before, just so happens same sort of wheel track as the Chevy front diff. What we've done to it is, as you can see, it's braced up pretty heavily.
It's a substantial brace going on there.
Yeah, I may or may not have bent the tubes a little bit. So
Dean's hard on the gear, folks, and there's no beating around the bush there.
You wouldn't think so. It's not like I'm jumping it, you know, but a lot of torque and gets things going. So
when you carry as much rum in the back of this Hummer as Dean does as well, there's a lot of extra weight over that axle. So
yeah, it could be. Latest iteration of the front end.
Yeah.
Because when we went leaf over, obviously it puts it up another 100 or so mil.
Yeah.
Then you take some leaves out, drop it back down.
Yeah.
So what we're running here is the Old Man Emu leaf pack.
Yeah.
But substantially reduced in the amount of leaves. So we had a little bit of an autumn thing going.
Yeah, okay.
And
shed a few leaves out of it.
Leaves were shed, they were falling on the ground.
Yeah.
So now she runs just a 3-leaf pack.
Yeah.
So it's happy to move around, but it's supported with the Boss airbags. So
awesome.
The Boss airbags we put in, we were going to do what most guys do, which is just the 2 bellows and have them separate for articulation. But talking to the boys at Boss, they were fairly confident that they could get the 10-inch travel, not affect my articulation with the triple bellow bags.
Yeah.
And you'll see a bit later on, they actually stretch quite well.
Awesome.
We haven't noticed, you know, we're still new and doing a lot of R&D on it, but we haven't noticed it really restricting the articulation.
Awesome.
The other thing you'll see is we've extended the links.
Yeah.
I like to run a sway bar. I haven't ran it without. The vehicle doesn't run a front sway bar.
Okay.
So it just runs the rear. The front, there's enough adjustability in all the shocks. It just doesn't need it. It passes swerve test without it.
Fantastic.
So it's pretty tunable. We're running ultimate suspension custom built shocks.
Yeah.
They're around about a 10-inch shock. There is room to extend that a little bit further.
Yep.
But to be honest, people have asked why I haven't linked the rear since we've done so much work in the front.
Yeah.
Comes down to wheeling it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's predictable,
stable.
It's controllable, it's stable. It gets enough flex in the rear, nowhere near the front, but it helps the front and remains stable. As I said, I've pulled these out, didn't rate it, like side angles, just got a lot more boaty.
Yeah.
The car's pretty well balanced. Each corner is within 10 kg, depending on whether it's got a full tank of fuel or not.
Awesome.
So front to back, side to side, the car's really well balanced.
Nice and balanced. Kids, sway bars aren't the enemy. You heard it here from Dean, the Mean Machine. I reckon we have a look inside at the comfy little lounge chairs that Hummer likes to call the cockpit, because, gonna be honest, this flat rock, not too great on my knees.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Well, the inside of a Hummer is not something I dare say I've ever seen before, and it's actually quite nice. I guess 2008, so you do get some mod cons. What are we looking at? What have you done in here?
Well, not a lot, to be honest. I haven't had to do too much. You know, set of mud mats, upgraded the stereo, because even in 2008, the Americans decided that you didn't need a screen. Yeah, but basically, we've got the CV radio.
Yep.
Hidden away there, so we've just got the handle nice and easy to reach.
Yep.
Got the locker switches and compressor all within easy reach there, the cheat switches. Got the monster lights there, so we get that, turn that big green eyeball on.
Yeah.
But basically, haven't done a whole lot. There is a sneaky switch here for a front camera.
Okay.
Because as you know, with tall trucks, you
Can
can
be a
lose
bit
the
hard.
line.
Yep, big time.
So it's a little bit of a cheat. Helps occasionally, but don't use it very often, to be honest. Installed some trailer brakes, do a little bit of towing.
Yeah.
But basically inside has remained pretty much stock. It's
nice.
pretty comfy, you know, you got your leather seats heated.
Yeah, I was going to say heated leather seats.
Yeah,
is nice.
heated,
Sunroof,
and power.
nice.
Yeah, you've got sunroof.
Yeah.
You know, your rear view that tells you directions, temperature, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, right.
Not that you can see too much out the back window with that 37
I was
sitting
going to
there.
say that it would make a rear view a little bit tricky. No, overall it's real nice in here, and I like that it's sort of simple. A lot of people, and I am very much guilty of it, we put screens fucking everywhere we can possibly put screens and gadgets and switches and things and lights and gauges.
Yep.
And it can actually distract quite often on the road and when you're wheeling. So it's nice that you've got massive visibility and it's all pretty simple in here.
Yeah, and look, you know, basically, if I do have anything, I have a phone mount.
Yep.
But you know, you got your hands free and everything hooked up. But I'll have a phone mount there and have my iPhone sitting there with maps. Occasionally. But look, not a whole lot of plans for in here, other than I am going to build a console over the top, and just for there's limited space for switches and stuff like that. So I've got a set of rock lights to put on it and a few other things, and I've ran out of space. So we'll create some space there. In the back, look, I've gone through all the gamut of rooftop tents, swags, all that sort of stuff. So what we're doing at the moment, there's no back seat. I've pulled that out, and we're just starting the conversion to bring all the weight up into that passenger area to keep that balance that we were talking about earlier. So it's stable off-road, and then a bed platform in the back. So for those quick trips away, we'll do that. So
that's a better way to do it. A bit more comfy than the swag, but you don't have that sort of 60 kilos up high, sort of throwing your centre of balance all off.
That's it. And as you know, when you're getting on some wild angles, that 60 kilos can be all the difference. Yeah,
it's make or break sometimes in every sense of the phrase. I reckon there's one thing left to do, mate, and it's what do you say we go drive some tracks?
Yeah, for sure. Let's hit it.
Let's get into it. All right, I reckon send it up, mate. You saw my line, so you know how to make it look easy. Oh, it's so sloshy. Made it look even easier than I did.
Sam, got to do it no lockers. Got to do it no lockers.
No lockers? Yeah.
Hear it? Pump. Running. Leaking. Rear locker. Oh, this would be interesting with no lockers.
little sharp.
Huh?
Might be sharp.
Is it?
Back down.
Maybe just a little packer?
I think it's fuel pump, fuel tank.
Alright.
More than anything.
I think just a little packer under each wheel.
Chuck one under this left one, I reckon.
Yeah, and this right one's really climbed the wall as well.
The right one looks fine, just this left dog.
Yeah, just there's a little boulder right beside it, but if you could just flip that under.
Yeah, you want a little swing for it?
Yeah, just to help it. Because that's a pretty gnarly ledge.
Yeah.
No, there's one just there, that little one. Oh, that'll do. That'll be even better. Yeah, that'd be sweet. Good time for the lockers to decide they don't want to work, eh?
Give that a little go.
Yeah, we're good?
See what happens. No lockers at all, eh?
What to hang up on?
Just dug into that silky shit.
The right rear was climbing.
It was?
Yeah, that's why I stayed on it.
This back left stopped spinning at all.
Yeah, because the lockers aren't working back. So the back right, have I still got plenty of room over that way?
Yeah, it's got a fair while. Your front will stop pivoting because there's a bit of a lip.
Yeah.
About 30 centimetres, so.
Because it wants it.
Right hand now, potentially. No, right. Yeah, a little bit straight. Try and stop it from falling over.
Might help in gear. Put it in deep for drag.
These are destroyed. Dig it down. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Oh yeah, it's climbing.
Nah.
Too big. Fucking wanted it. Yeah, lockers for a second there.
Yeah. Look at the hole I've dug over this side.
Yeah. You know, 50 metre lap pull over here as well.
I'll see if I get a different angle on that. All right, you back up.
Yeah, you're all clear.
Come straight back, because I might try that corner.
Yeah, all good. Passing out to drop down, nice and slow. Coming down the base now.
I can't see that corner, but you
This
reckon
side
there's
is
a
sweet.
chance?
Yeah, keep coming. Keep coming. Jump. Yeah, just a little rock. Keep coming, you got heaps. Another metre if you want it.
Let's see.
See if you can come over this side.
It's pretty ambitious, but
Yeah. See what happens.
I'd say it's going to be too soft to climb. What do you reckon? Pump it? I'll see if it clears first,
See what happens.
and then I'll back up and pump
You got
it.
heaps of shaft space and stuff because of the V, you know. Might do it. It's less undercut. Bit of right hand down, maybe front. Yeah.
Give it a bump.
The bump.